So recently, a video popped up on my Facebook feed with an exercise creator demonstrating various back exercises. Now, this creator looked great. They had a great physique, they had a great back, but one of the exercises they demonstrated was quite questionable. Now, I'm not going to show the actual video by that creator because I don't want to call anybody out or slam anybody here. That's not what I'm about. All right, I just want to show you guys, teach you guys what's useful and what's not useful, and show you what was wrong with this exercise, at least in terms of being a back exercise like they claimed. Now, I'm going to show you a video of me doing the exercise that they did. And if you can tell what's wrong with it, then comment down below. And afterwards, we'll go over it. That is not a back exercise. If you understood biomechanics, you'd be able to tell too why that's not a back exercise. That's why biomechanics is very important. There's lots of information floating out there, a lot of people demonstrating different exercises, and a lot of these people are buff, they're jacked, right? They look great. And if you just watch them and you see them do these exercises, you might think, that's a great exercise, I should do the exercise too. But some of those exercises are not at all working what they say they're working. And if you understand biomechanics, you'll be able to tell the useless workouts from the workouts that might make some sense. So today, let's talk about biomechanics. So this creator claimed that this exercise was a back exercise. And the way they tried to sell it was they shot it from the back. So from the back, when they were doing this creator had a pretty well-defined back. So when you're doing this, it looks like your back muscles are contracting. I mean, they are contracting, but that doesn't make it a back exercise. I could stand here with no weight, and if I straighten up my arm and contract my tricep contracts. But that doesn't mean doing this is a tricep exercise. Also, the motion this person was doing in their exercise was side to side like this. Dumbbells are free weights. Free weights use the principle of gravity for resistance, which means resistance only goes down. So the only way you're actually working against the resistance of a dumbbell is if you're going up, since the resistance is going down. If you're going side to side, the resistance is going down that way, it's not going against this motion you're doing. So the amount of weight you're carrying is irrelevant for this motion. Right. So even if this person was in the correct angle, right, to how the resistance go against this, it could be a questionable back exercise. But in this situation, there's no way that resistance is working against the path of travel that they were doing. So aside from resistance going directly against the line of motion you're doing, it's important for you to understand what the function of the muscle that you're trying to work does. That way, you'll know if this exercise you're doing is actually working the muscle you're trying to work. So to understand that, we should break down what a muscle is and what a muscle does. Okay. So muscle has two attachment points. One is an origin and one's an insertion. Now, it's not really important for you to understand which is which. All you need to know is that muscles have attached to two bones, usually around the joint. And what muscles do is muscles contract and pull those 2 points closer together. So when you understand where the muscle connects and the direction of the muscle fibers, you'll be able to determine what exercise, motion, and angle of resistance you'll want to work that muscle. So you often hear people talk about the stretch because research has shown that resistance or load in the stretch position is a little bit more conducive to hypertrophy. So when you understand the attachment points of your muscles, you'll understand what positions will put that muscle you're trying to train in the most stretched position. For example, some muscles like the bicep actually cross two joints. So the biceps, at least one of the bicep heads, crosses both your elbow and your shoulder joint. Right? In that case, having your elbow back like this will give that bicep more of a stretch, right? Which will help give you more muscle growth, which is why things like Bayesian curls, where you're holding a cable, right, and have your elbow back like this, are an effective exercise, right, with a lot of stretch in that bicep. If you understand that the bicep connects past the shoulder, then that'll let you figure out that that position will give it more stretch. And that's why it's important to understand the attachment points of the muscles. So back to the exercise this creator was doing. Right? The creator was claiming this was a back exercise. But if it was back exercise, you'd probably need resistance coming from the front, maybe from the sides, or from above. Either way, you want the resistance going this way or that way if this was the motion they were doing. In this situation, if the resistance is going down, the only muscles that are working really are elbow flexors, right? Those are the muscles bending your arm to keep the weight in this position. So all this really is an isometric exercise for some bicep and brachialis, right? And in this situation, just holding the weight steady in this position would give you the same workout for that muscle as doing it like this, since this motion is completely irrelevant to the direction of the weight being used. And that's why it's important to understand some basics of biomechanics. Right? It'll help you quickly eliminate some of the very obvious bad advice you'll see online. So to recap, it's good to understand the attachment points of muscles. So muscles usually attach on two different bones, usually around the joint, and what muscles do is muscles contract. And when they contract, they pull those 2 points closer together. So once you understand that, you understand the basic function of a muscle. Then it's important to understand the direction of the muscle fibers, right? Because the direction of the muscle fibers will help determine which direction you want the resistance going to bias different parts of the muscle, or just to ideally train that muscle in general. Because usually muscles are grouped of other muscles with similar functions, and knowing the direction of the fibers you're trying to target will help you target that specific muscle you're trying to bias. Thanks so much for sticking with me to end this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, please like and subscribe. It'll really help me out a lot. Thanks, everyone.